So I think we're all familiar with the posture, but if not, just make sure that the feet, legs are in an appropriate position to provide stability, that you have enough support for your back. The back is upright, the shoulders are level, head tilted slightly forwards, arms by the side of the body with a gap between arms and torso, hands resting on the thighs or knees or in the lap. Chin tucked in a little bit, back of the neck stretched so the head is tilted slightly forwards. Eyes can be a little bit open or closed. And then some people find it useful to keep the tongue touching the upper palate just behind the teeth, or the upper row of teeth, to prevent buildup of saliva. Remember the uprightness, the dignity, and the self-confidence of this posture. Given that we are, in a sense, imitating Lord Buddha, which is a very meaningful imitation, because actually we have all the attributes of Buddhahood in seed form within our own minds. So we all have the potential to wake up to complete Buddhahood. So there is no kind of foolish pretension in faking it for the time being. This is actually going to be something we generate in the future, the completely awakened mind. The front of the body open, openness to the phenomenal world, to the beauty of the world, the pain of the world, other sentient beings, not pretending that we can't see their pain and misery, seeing it very clearly, being aware of it, feeling it, not just seeing it. So today we'll start with the so-called 7-limb prayer, go through that briefly, and that can be very useful for your daily practice. The 7-limb prayer helps us to generate positive energy and also to purify obstacles to practice. It's a kind of all-round, comprehensive practice in a nutshell that can be performed before the main session of meditation. It could also be practiced as a whole session in its own right, since it is actually very deep and extensive. We just do it in brief form before the session. So the first limb, or the first part, is the prostration. So we imagine we are at least folding our hands together and bowing in front of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas as an antidote to our pride, and also out of deep respect, reverence towards the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. They are worthy of our respect because of the incredible effort they have put into the spiritual path and in awakening their compassion, wisdom, and in the case of the Buddhas, completely perfecting those qualities. Second limb, second practice is to make offerings. So here we make offerings of water for drinking, water for washing the feet, flowers, And the offering of flowers is, of course, for beauty and so forth. It's very pleasing. But at a deeper level, for our sake, it helps to create the cause for beauty in the future, perceiving beauty, being beautiful, so forth. Remember, the Buddhas don't need any of these offerings. We offer mainly for our own sakes, completely for our own sake. Of course, all of this practice makes the Buddhas happy, but they're happy because we are benefiting. Third offering, the fourth offering rather, is incense. And offering incense is said to create the cause for pure morality. We are able to generate pure moral conduct, abstaining from harm, and so forth. So we offer very high quality incense. Imagine that is being offered. And the aroma is pervading the space, purifying the atmosphere. Then light. We offer light. Light, as you might imagine, dispels darkness. It helps us to dispel the darkness of ignorance from our minds. So we can imagine offering beautiful lights, like we do in India at Diwali. Then we offer perfume. Already offered incense before, but here we offer perfumes again, which create the cause for auspiciousness, beauty, pleasant environments, so forth. Perfume dispels the stink, helps to dispel the bad smell of unwholesomeness and degeneration. Then we offer food, delicious foods and drinks. Imagining that. And this helps to create the cause to always have sufficient nourishment, the means for living. And of course, from a compassionate point of view, it means that we also have resources to be able to benefit others who are hungry, thirsty, whatever they need. Then we offer music, the last offering, the eighth, beautiful sounds of music. And this helps, of course, in general, it's auspicious and creates the cause to hear beautiful sounds in future. But here very much also reminding us, it is said, of emptiness, of the sound of reality, in impermanence. So we have prostrated, we have made these offerings. The third limb is the limb of confession. So, to be honest, we have created a lot of negativity mentally, verbally, and physically, even in this life, let alone countless previous lifetimes. So this needs to be acknowledged and regretted. Just as we would regret having engaged in any kind of stupidity or stupid action, whether deliberately or by mistake, we regret that in a healthy way in order to remedy it, not in order to sink into some kind of trough of guilt or depression. That would be totally counterproductive, useless. But here we generate a healthy regret, thinking, yeah, as much as possible, I'm not going to engage in unwholesome activity in the future. since it simply disturbs my mind, pollutes my mind, prevents me from fulfilling my own purpose, prevents me fulfilling the purpose of others. So then one could commit to some kind of purification practice in the future on a regular basis, as much as possible. But just having strong regret in the beginning is also highly, highly beneficial. So it begins to purify negativity as well as motivate us to um, complete practice of purification, which involves a particular practice and what are called the four remedial powers, the four opponent powers of regret, of taking refuge, generating compassion, bodhicitta, the actual remedy, a remedial practice, and then the resolve, as much as possible, not to commit those actions again. Fourth limb is rejoicing. This is very wonderful and necessary practice in which we recall our own positivity, our own positive actions of body, speech, and mind, and those of others. And we rejoice. So we start with our own. Remember things you have done which are positive, even small things. It doesn't have to be some great big deal action, just some positive thought even, or something kind you said to somebody which helped them, or a positive action benefiting another person or animal or insect. Remembering that, be happy, rejoice, recognizing that it benefited somebody and it's also creating positive habitual pattern in one's own mind. Very positive imprint is created through those actions. So lift up the heart and rejoice, thinking how wonderful it is. Then think about the positive actions of other people you know, with whom you might feel regularly a little bit competitive or even envious. And rather than engaging in those disturbing, useless emotions, generate rejoicing, thinking how wonderful it is. How great that people are engaging in positive actions, even more than I am, because it's the cause of happiness. Therefore, how wonderful. So rejoice in that, thinking how wonderful it is. And then rejoice in the positive actions of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and your teachers, beings who obviously you can see dedicate their life for others and are not really that concerned with their own comfort or happiness. Their joy is in benefiting others. So reflecting on that, think how wonderful that is. That state of mind, that kind of activity, how wonderful. Really lift up the heart and rejoice at that. So this is a very vast practice, as you can imagine. One could spend a lot of time on rejoicing, and not only on other people's good actions, which is of course the best way, but also you can rejoice at situations which usually make us feel envious. So for example, somebody is obviously more talented right now than we are, or more handsome or more beautiful, we think, or more successful, has a nicer house or car. So rather than be upset at that or uncomfortable, you can rejoice, thinking, okay, how wonderful. That's the result of something positive, that they've achieved that makes them happy. How wonderful. So by being happy at that, we help ourselves and we create the cause for future happiness for ourselves. And meantime, we don't create disturbance in any way for the other person through jealousy or and so forth. So this is a marvelous, vast, and in one way, very simple practice. You don't have to move around or spend money rejoicing. The fifth limb of practice is to, recognizing the importance of having awakened people and teachers around, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, then urging them not to pass away into peace, a state of peace or nirvana, but to remain. If one is committed to nirvana, then one simply, at the time of death, dissolves into, a space where one is unconnected, disconnected from beings, and is simply in one's own state of perfect freedom from all suffering, without any contact, without any benefit for others. So here we request the teachers not to pass into nirvana, but to keep on manifesting for our benefit. Which is what the Bodhisattva path is about. And then the sixth is to not just we don't just request them to stay, we request them to stay and then to teach, to turn the wheel of the Dharma. It's important to keep on requesting the teachings. It creates the interest within us, creates the motivation within us, creates the cause for teachers to manifest and to teach us. So we request the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, the great teachers, to continue turning the wheel of the Dharma. recognizing that only those teachings have the ability to completely eliminate the root of suffering. Then the last practice within the 7 limbs is dedication, dedicating the positive energy one has generated through these practices, dedicating it for the highest goal, which is awakening, to be able to complete the paths of wisdom and compassion, and to attain the state of Buddhahood for the sake of all living beings. So these are the 7 limbs, which are very worthwhile to investigate and practice more. But we'll spend the rest of the session in the silent practice, the breath awareness. Of course, if you wish, you can continue reflecting on some of these 7 limbs. Otherwise, engage in the breath awareness practice silently, and we'll briefly dedicate at the end. Please dedicate the positive energy we've generated together towards the happiness and welfare of all the suffering living beings, and for all of us to generate authentic loving kindness, compassion, and wisdom, understanding how we exist, wisdom that banishes the darkness of self-grasping ignorance. And we also dedicate that we're never separated from authentic teachings and teachers, and that those authentic teachers have long and healthy lives and continue to turn the wheel of the Dharma. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Just a reminder that tonight we have a very excellent teacher at Tushita, teaching on insight into emptiness, into reality. So that will be 6:30 tonight at Tushita, also on Zoom. Thank you.